Good morning, Suba. How are you?
I'm fine, François. Good morning to you too.
It's good to see you, even though it's all a bit virtual these days. I'm sorry I can't make it to KL. I'm in
It's okay.
Singapore,
It's nice meeting virtually. At least we meet each other still.
but thanks a lot for participating today. You're actually kickstarting this series of interview we have with people in the industry. So you're the first, you're the guinea pig. Thank you so much. So I think it's fair to say that everyone knows AirAsia. And everyone in the industry knows who you are, but maybe for the benefit of a larger audience, maybe you want to introduce yourself, Suba?
Okay, I'm Suba. I've been with AirAsia for like 13 years now, going 14 this October. That's a long time. So I'm definitely hooked to the airline industry. Prior to AirAsia, I used to work for PricewaterhouseCoopers for close to 5 years.
So, and I have to congratulate you on your new appointment. I mean, you're the group head for, well, I'm going to forget something for sure, fleet, strategy, planning, and probably other things. But you have a new job now as the CEO of AirAsia Consulting. So I'm very curious to hear about this. What is that new job
Yeah.
about?
Previously, I was the group head of network scheduling, airline strategy, scheduling, and regulatory. And recently, I've been appointed as the CEO of a new entity which we have set up, AirAsia Consulting Sdn Berhad, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of AirAsia Group Berhad. So basically, we've set up this consulting company, which we want to offer consulting services to other airlines as well as anyone in general. And we will not be a plain vanilla consulting service because our consulting services will be a little bit different because we are looking forward to franchising a new brand out to anybody who wants to set up an LCC. So we'll help them set up and secure the AOC license and manage their business for them without really investing in the business. It'll be a bit different from our current setup where we invest in the business and it's called AirAsia Malaysia or AirAsia Thailand. This one would be us setting up a low-cost airline for someone else without having any equity participation. Or if we want to have the equity participation, we can, but it will not be a priority. The reason why we've started this is because there's been a lot of requests of people asking us to set up airlines in different countries. And while our core market is ASEAN, we want to focus on ASEAN. So we've decided that we will now take up the offer and set up airline for others. And we already have one client, we are currently setting up an airline in a different country. So yeah, hopefully we'll have a workable model which we can replicate across many other countries.
You mentioned you were with PwC before. So how does one go from finance or accounting into the airline, and where else would you be otherwise? I mean, that's very different.
Yeah. So I was with PwC. AirAsia was my client, and so that's how I was hired under AirAsia. So the only reason why I left the finance industry because I didn't want to look at the historical numbers. I wanted to be more on the forefront of business and make commercial decisions and drive profitability because that's always have been my passion. So that's why I joined AirAsia, and it has been a great journey in AirAsia. I've received a lot of more exposure in the commercial side of business and have made decisions and driven profitability, and it is very exciting for me.
Well, it's fair to say that there's not too many industries in the world where things are as dynamic as the airline industry, and AirAsia is extremely dynamic. But I'm thinking that COVID has caught everyone by surprise, and I'm sure you like the others. But how prepared do you think you were for this pandemic, if one can be?
Okay, I think we've been through a lot of challenges in the airline industry in general. I think from high fuel price to SARS and all that. So when it happened, we thought this is just another pandemic, and we thought it's like SARS and it'll go off by itself in a very short time. But here we are 1 year later, still battling and grappling with this pandemic. So I think it's definitely taken the whole industry by surprise. I don't think so. We were prepared that we will be in this state for such a long time. I think we would have assumed that this would have ended like a whole lot quicker than what we thought it would be. So whatever forecast we've done on recovery previously, it keeps changing because that's how the dynamics is. We have not been able to actually contain this virus as much as we would like to have. So I think it's definitely a challenge, but I think we've faced it head on. I think we've done a lot of things as a company, and I think because we've always been innovative and we've always been into the digital side of business. So I think a lot of it, we were a lot more prepared than some other businesses or some other airline, for sure. Like we've done a lot of cost cutting, we've tried to maximize revenue, we've come out with all the COVID related procedures, which all the contactless kiosks, and we've come with applications that which is first in the world, like Scan to Fly, where we use AI and machine learning, and it validates your PCR test results during check-in. So there's a lot of things we have done, which is very commendable, actually.
As you said, we all expected these to be done in 3 months, 6 months. And then, as a friend of mine told me the other day, we've had our heads in the bucket for over a year now. So I wonder, in the case of AirAsia, if you feel that would have changed the business in some ways forever. Will things be different pre-COVID and post-COVID, or it's just another crisis?
I think things will definitely be different. I think in general, I think all airlines in general will be a lot more lean moving forward, because I think you never know when this can happen again, right? I mean, we've gone through this. It doesn't mean that this will be the last anyway. And also, yeah, and also because I think in terms of the innovation and how we have gone digital, like AirAsia, for example, in this period, we've also diversified so much our business that we've gone into building our own OTA platform and going into ride hailing, fresh food deliveries, fresh deliveries and stuff like that. So we've also diversified in this time, because this was the best time for us to focus on going digital in some of the areas which we started early on, but it just gave us the time to just focus on it when the recovery was so slow.
Yes. I mean, there's a lot of good airlines in the world, in the region, and good organizations, but I mean, AirAsia has always been, certainly from a cost point of view, from a cultural point of view, at the forefront. But if you had to take it down to one thing, if you look from outside and say, okay, that's the one thing we are better at than the others, this is where we make the difference, where would that be?
If you ask me, I definitely think it's leadership and innovation. I think we are blessed with really good leader who has a great vision, like Tony. I think he has pivoted us through a lot of crisis, pivoted through us through a lot of things like the pandemic, where it's not an easy time to deal with something unless you have a visionary or a leader who gives clear direction. I think it'll be tough. And also because AirAsia has always continued innovating, like even now we've gone into more on the digital side and other businesses and diversified. I think that's in our DNA, and that's what is very important for us to keep moving forward.
Okay, I guess we can all agree on Tony being a great leader, but maybe on innovation. I mean, innovation is very much driven by technology in a way, and where do you see this going in the airline industry next few years? Where do you see the biggest changes will be?
So if you ask me, I think the adoption of technology in the airline industry specifically has been slower than other industries. I don't think that new technologies are emerging as fast as other industries. I think we've always been slower in having new technology, but AirAsia has adopted any new technology that comes our way, like biometric identification, all this boarding. We've worked with airports as well, like Changi T4, when they wanted to make sure that they have all the latest technology in terms of travel. I think we work with them. I think we've always been the forefront of technology, where we want to work with people who want to build, and so that it's for us, it's always about cost and being efficient and having less manpower has always driven our decision to go more into the technological side. Yeah.
Okay. If we go specifically in the topic of aircraft, which is a bit of a hobby of mine, how do you see the aircraft in the next 20 years? What do you see for the evolution?
The dream would be to have a green supersonic jet that gets you somewhere at half the
time.
Oh,
oh, that's good. That's good. I like that. Yeah, that's very good.
Yeah, I mean, that's a dream. Whether you can actually get there in 20 years, I'm not sure, because the innovation in the airline industry has been a lot more slower than other industries. So we can only hope for the best.
Thank you, Suba. I think this is all the time we have today. But before we close, from you as a guest to our next guest, who will be Kalin Rovinescu, the just retired CEO of Air Canada. If you would like to ask him a question, what would that be?
Okay, my question would be, if you're in a position of power to change or implement something globally, how would you have dealt with COVID differently in the aviation and airline industry? What would you have done?
Okay, that's a very good question for him. I think he will enjoy that. And
I hope so too.
yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that. And in the meantime, well, we hope to fly. Me and Anoop, we hope to come and see you soon in KL.
I hope to
The
meet
sooner the
up with
better.
you guys soon, and I hope we can all travel like normal again. That would be like great.
First trip
Seriously.
Malaysia, first trip KL for us.
That's nice. You're
All
always
right.
welcome.
Thank you. Take care. Bye bye, Suba.
Okay, bye.